Hi guys, good evening. How are we all doing? Today I'll be putting us through on how to draft a basic skirt pattern, and I was not with my tape in the process of making this video, but I had my straight rule that are in inches, and I have my cuff rule, my paper and my pencil. So I first of all took a border line of 1 inch. I think my camera as a then was not covering the complete paper. From the top line I take 1 inches down and I mark it out as my border line. I mark at the beginning of the paper, at the middle and at the end horizontally. Now I'm trying to take my border line vertically. When we talk about border line just like the margin we have in our book, that's what a border line looks like, and this will guide you on where to start and where to stop. So I just took my border line at the top horizontally and I'm taking it by the left side vertically. Now the measurement that you need will be the waist measurement, the hip measurement, and also I'll be needing the length. So the waist I'm using here is 32, the hip I'm using here is 42, and the length is 42 as well. So I'll go ahead to divide the measurement into 2. That's the half, and then further divide it into another 2, making it like getting the quarter measurement. So 32, the half of it is 18 and the quarter of it is 8. For the hip is 21 and the quarter is 10.5. Now for the length, the half length, I'm not going to use exactly the half length and then I'll measure it out. No, I'm going to make use of the full length divided by 2, and then I'll subtract 2, and that is constant to take it up to above knee length, because by the time you divide it by 2 you end up having it on the knee. So I now went ahead to mark my half length and I've outlined it, and I'm marking the lines horizontally. I went to mark it vertical, and now I'm ruling my line horizontally. So this is what I have as the length. Now I'm taking the width, which is the half of the hip measurement. I'm using my hip because out of the horizontal measurement, the hip happens to be the biggest measurement rather. So the half of it is 21, and then the quarter is 10.5. So I mark out the half and the quarter as well. And why am I marking the quarter? Because I want to differentiate between the back and the front. The left side is going to be my back, and then the right side is going to be my front. So this is me marking out the middle of it all. That's the quarter hip measurement. So whichever measurement you have as the biggest is what you are going to use. The next thing I'm marking out is the dart line and the hip line. That line is 5 inches from the waist constant, and so goes to the hip line, 5 inches from the waist constant. But the dart line is only applicable at the back due to this, considering this method and this approach. So it's only at the back, the dart line. But I have the hip line running all through from the back to the front. So I've marked out the first line is the waistline, the second line is the dart, and then the third line is the hip. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my waist measurement at the back and at the front. But remember, just like I said, the back has a dart measurement. Instead of marking 8 inches at the back, I went ahead to mark 1 inch because my dart width is 1 inches. So if I happen to remove that without adding, then that means there's going to be a problem. There will be shortage. While the front, since I don't have that, I just decided to mark out exactly my 8 inches. So I'm trying to write down the explanation, which is that 8 plus 1 resulting to 9, and then 9 divided by 2 will be 4.5. So after marking that 9.5, after marking that 9, the next thing I'm doing is to get the half of it, which is 4.5, and that is where the dart position is going to sit. So I mark it on the waistline, and I went down to also mark it on the dart line. I think in our next tutorial I will make use of marker pen so that it will be more visible for you all to see. So if the dart is 1 inch wide, what I will need to do is to ensure that I mark half on both sides, half on the left side of the dart and half on the right side of the dart. And I've marked it out perfectly well. So that's where my dart position is going to be. So the next thing I'm going to look at is the shaping. That's the knee tightening. Now the knee tightening all goes down to what one wants to achieve at that particular moment. For more aged people that don't like too fitted outfits, 1 inch is okay for them. 1 inch at the center back, 1 inch at the side back, and 1 inch at the side front. Remember, the center front of a pencil skirt is always on fold, so there's nothing like shaping at the center front. We only shape at the center back to give us that butt effect, and we also shape at the side back and the side front. So but for this I'll be using 1.5 because I just want to have a very slim down and a perfect figure at the lower part. So I'm using 1.5 at my center back, 1.5 at my side back, and 1.5 at my side front. Now if you don't want to hold a dart on your skirt, there's what we do, transferring the darts to the back side. So I'll mark out my 1 inch from the center back and I'll curve it to that hip line. And at the end, that will give us that bum or the butt effect. So the center back, I'm labeling the center back, center front, and side front. So the up there is the top line. Then we have the hip line, that line rather, and then we have the hip line, and then we have the half length measurement, which is our full length divided by 2 minus 2. So if you find this tutorial helpful, don't forget to turn on the notification bell and also endeavor to like